give me 5 minutes and you look up on the screen here, as it says, um, I've got your second assignment written, and it says for the second assignment I'd like you to create one new program and then modify your non-MPG program. And you may have already done some of this stuff. Okay, so we'll get into this in just a minute. The plan is next week we'll go over the next chapter in the Ditel book, the chapter 5, which is their flag quiz. I am going to go over that. And if necessary, Thursday. We can probably do most of it in the day. We'll see how that works. Today and Thursday will both be lab periods. As it says here, remember the miles per gallon program in iteration 1 of whatever you're doing for your non-miles per gallon, be it the BMI or whatever, they're due this Friday. Now, I realize, it always ends up like this. We're in week 4 and you're starting to get hit on homework, and now there's more homework. So I'm trying to give you some lab time so you can hopefully budget your time accordingly. All right, so it'll be lab in here. It'll be lab in this class on Thursday. It'll also be lab on Thursday in the iOS class. Now, and I'm just saying this, I'm trying to be honest here. Like Zach said, he had something going on this afternoon. He had to go. I understand. Everybody's got, everybody has different things going on in their lives. I understand that, okay? But that said, it's real hard for me to have a lot of sympathy for somebody who comes up to me and says, I'm really behind on my homework, when you haven't been coming at all when there are lab days. All right? And, even if you got valid reasons, I'm sorry. It's, the most successful people in any program here look at this like a job and treat it like a job. Because to me, you're going here to try to get a job. So it's kind of a prelude to a job. So I don't know. But like I said, and I realize a lot of times when people are not here, there are very valid reasons that they're not here. I get that. But what I'm trying to tell you is I'm trying to give you what I consider to be hopefully ample amount of time, lab time, to work on it. That doesn't mean you don't have to work on it at home. I don't know. And I know that that becomes almost an impossibility for those of you, for the iOS class. All right, so for the second assignment, please try to utilize the objectives, as many as possible, from Chapter 4, those being the list activity, shared preferences, array adapter, etc., and Chapter 5, fragments, assets, and handlers in both programs. Please ask if you have any questions. So, you're going to have 2 assignments. Let's look at the second one first. Again, that's a refinement of your first non-MPG program. So, let's say Travis's is already done, and he's got it finished, and he did the BMI program, and it's all finished. So he should go back and do things like add the alert builder, all right, and other whatever, all right. And I'm not going to tell you what to add because it depends on how you did it. There's no way there's no standard way to tell everybody how to do something. Because the only way I could do that would have been to say for the first one, do it exactly like this, and I don't want to do that. Now, what they have, just so you know, the program, the one that we'll go over next Tuesday, and if necessary Thursday for Chapter 5, if you haven't looked at it, it's a quiz on flags of the world. And the idea, I'm just going to draw it on the board. It'd be easier than trying to put it anyplace else. But it comes out, and you've got like an image view right here, which has got a picture of a flag. All right? And then you can go in, and there are settings. There literally are buttons here that you guess from. But you can change over here. You can come up here and you can change the settings to show you 3 possibilities, or 6 possibilities, or 9 possibilities. Those are all buttons. So in other words, with 9, it would be harder because you'd have an 8 out of 9 chance out of getting it wrong, as opposed to just a 2 out of 3 chance of getting it wrong. That kind of an idea. So I tried to come up with the other assignment would be one where you could use this one kind of as a jumping off point or whatever. So I picked 5.8 U.S. State Quiz app. Using the techniques you learned in this chapter, create an app that displays an outline of a U.S. state and ask the user to identify the state. Now, how big you want to get with this, etc., is up to you. I'd imagine you'd have at least, for example, maybe a half dozen states. And some of them, when you think about it, some states you can look at, you already know what it is. Florida, for example, has got a distinct look to it. You might know Wisconsin just because you live there, type of an idea. All right? So, display the outline of a state and ask the user to identify it. If the user guesses the correct state, include a bonus question and ask the user to name the state's capital. All right. Now, I wouldn't expect anyone to go out there and find outlines of all 50 states. If you want to do that, that'd be fine. All right. And again, one of the assignments, probably for your next assignment, will be maybe to modify this one. I don't know. Or you might go nuts with this and say, you know, this made me think of something, so I came up with my own game based on this type of an idea. All right, if the user answers correctly, add 10 bonus points. Otherwise, simply display the correct answer and allow the user to proceed to the next state. Keep score as described in the book. So again, this week will be lab all week. All right, next week we'll lecture on Chapter 5 on Tuesday. If we finish it, then Thursday will be a lab. If we don't finish it, all right, if we don't finish it, then we'll lecture on Thursday. Then 2 weeks from now, that week will be lab. And then the week before break, we'll go over Chapter 6. Okay? And the week after that, I think, is break. That's what I've been told. So I wasn't sure, so let's see if she got back to me. No. I sent Tammy an email and asked her for sure if that was when it was. And you might say, well, why don't you just look on the website? I've tried doing that before, and it's very hard to find anything like that on the website, first of all. Second of all, they've already put it in there where it's been wrong. All right. I know that's hard to believe that they... March 9th? Yeah. That's what I thought, and that's what I'd heard. But I just want to double check, triple check, whatever you want to say. All right. The other thing I want to tell you is I'm going to lecture today, but I'm going to try to keep it down to about an hour in the iOS class. One of the reasons for that, and if anybody's interested in this, fine, and if you're not, fine. But I've been invited to this O'Reilly, is that it? No, that isn't it. O'Reilly webcast that's today. And there are three gentlemen who have written a book on Swift, and they're going to talk about different things in Swift. These are advanced topics, delegates and closures and a few other things, but it starts at 4, and if anybody's interested, I'll just pull this thing out and I'll play it up there. And if you say, no, that just bugs the hell out of me, I don't want to hear that, then I'll just listen to it myself through the headphones. I don't care. All right? So I'll remind you that again in the next class. No. All right. Questions? So again, look at the homework. If you have questions on the homework, then let me know. All right? Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. No, it's not. All right? Anything else? Any other questions? Then I'm finished. I finished producing the 2 from this morning for Chapter 9 for the PHP class, and all I have to do is put the links to Blackboard in them, and I'll do this right now and throw that up there. Okay? I've done 2 lectures. I did one this morning and one yesterday afternoon when I got home for Chapter 4 from iOS, but I haven't finished it yet. Okay, but that'll be out there also, and we'll talk about it a little bit today in class. It's funny, I think I told you this, I've been having problems with the sound, so I went through, I've become as expert as I can on the speakers and the sound of this MacBook Pro that I have. It hasn't helped a bit. So I finally just said, basically I keyed into Google the equivalent of, hey, has anybody ever had a problem with your Mac, just the sound just going, and instead you getting a clicking sound? Of course, there was one person who had the exact same problem. And it was, at least from the hologram type, or the avatar, it looked like a female. And she said, this is going to sound like a real weird thing to do, but hold down on the power button and count to 15. And it'll power itself down, but keep holding on it. And I did that, and it started working fine again. So from now on, every time it goes bad, that's what I'm going to do. And I think Mike has said this before, and I've come to the conclusion that Google will help you with almost anything if you give it enough instructions.